everyone, it's Helen McConnell from PurposeProsperityHappiness.com. Today I want to talk to you about coaching. I know a lot of you out there are coaches or you have coaches. Many of my colleagues and friends are coaches. And I want to talk to you about an important aspect of coaching. Before you hire a coach, or if you're already working with a coach, or if you are a coach and you have clients, this information is critical. Many of us do not have the emotional capability to do what our coaches tell us to do. Let me repeat that. Many of us do not have the emotional capability to do what our coaches tell us to do. And if that's the case, and if you don't do anything about it, you're not going to have any success, and your clients aren't going to have any success if you're a coach. So if you are an entrepreneur and you have a coach, and you keep finding yourself week after week telling your coach, I haven't done it yet, or I keep trying to do it, or I don't know how to do it, or I'm afraid to do it, this is what I'm talking about. It's that emotional capability. You know you want to do it, but you're finding it difficult to actually get it done. This is what we call inner resistance, and number one, it's not your fault. Number two, there's something you can do about it. And number three, I encourage you that if you have a coach or you're thinking about getting a coach, make sure your coach has very concrete tools to use to help you overcome your inner resistance to doing whatever that coach is going to tell you to do. For me, tapping is that tool, and it works on pretty much every emotional inner resistance that I've ever bumped up against. There probably are other tools out there as well, so this isn't to say you have to have a coach who taps, but if you have a coach who doesn't tap, find a tapping practitioner to help you. Perhaps you've found what you feel is the best possible coach you can have, and that person isn't a tapper. Get a tapping practitioner to help you on the side. It's sort of like when a team has a head coach and then they have coaches for specific things. Let's say you're a baseball team, you might have a batting coach, a catching coach, an outfield coach. When we're in business for ourselves, we need coaches for lots of different things. We need mentors and coaches. So if you find yourself resisting the very things that you know are going to move you forward in your business, then tapping is for you. So right now I'd like to give you an example so that you can see how this works. I want you to tap along. I want you to repeat after me. I'm going to use an actual issue that a client brought to me. So just tap along and see how you feel. And if your issue is different than this, that's totally fine. Just focus on your issue, use these words, and your brain will amazingly know what to do. So here's what I consider to be a fairly common resistance. Let's say you are an entrepreneur and you've been charging by the session, or you've been charging by the hour, and you've hired a coach because you're not making enough money and your business isn't growing the way you want, and your coach has said to you, you need to start charging in a bigger way. You either need to raise your rates, create packages, or create programs so that each client is paying you more money and you're not really working on an hourly basis anymore, because that isn't sustainable. And oftentimes the resistance to that is, oh, I couldn't charge that much, or I'm not sure I'm worth that much, or I might lose the clients I have now, and that really scares me, something like that. So the inner resistance in this is fear of charging more, and yet the other part of us knows that we have to charge more. Before we start tapping, I'd like you to focus in on this issue that's causing you this resistance. And I want you to measure on a 0 to 10 scale, 0 being lowest, 10 being most resistant, how intense is your resistance to doing whatever it is that your coach wants you to do. And that's not the part that says, I know I should do this. It's the part that says, oh, I can't do this. Okay, so pay attention to that and measure that. And let's start with a number. Write down the number, 0 to 10. And then we'll check back in after we do a round of tapping. Starting on the karate chop point, repeat after me. And like I said, if your issue is different, focus for a moment on your issue, and then repeat the words I say. Your brain is really, really amazing, and it will know how to make the switch. even though I'm afraid to raise my rates, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though my coach has told me all the reasons why I should raise my rates, and I understand it intellectually, but there's a part of me that feels like I just can't raise my rates. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm afraid my current clients might leave me, and I might not get any new ones if I raise my rates, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then tapping around the points using a reminder phrase. Repeat after me, starting at the top of the head right here. Raise my rates. Eyebrow. I don't think so. I know my coach said I need to raise my rates, but I'm afraid to do it. Part of me thinks I'm not worth raising my rates. Part of me's just scared. I don't want to seem selfish or greedy. And I'm afraid people will think that about me if I raise my rates. Maybe I should just keep my rates the way they are. Play it safe. Play it small. I know it's not sustainable, but it's comfortable. I'm afraid to raise my rates. I'm afraid to raise my rates. And then just take a nice deep breath. Now here's what you can do with that little part of the video. First, I want you to re-measure the intensity of how it feels when you think about raising your rates or creating packages. And notice if the number has changed, if it's gone up or down. And the idea is to tap again and again on this, using this very same script over and over until that number gets down to a 3 or lower. And you'll be amazed, it won't take very long. And each time you tap and you stop and take a breath, notice if anything new came up for you, any new ideas, any new thoughts or images, and jot those down on that same piece of paper. There might be some deeper roots to why you can't raise your rates or issues about money. That's what most likely is going to come out of this. Tap on those other issues using the assistance of some of my other videos or audios. We can do a lot of tapping on our own to clear a lot of stuff, but there comes a time when we get stuck and we can't go any further because we can't see our own stuff, and that's when we need the help of a practitioner. And if you get to that point, I hope that you'll contact me. We can create a long-term or a short-term package for you that's designed personally for you. I look forward to hearing from you, and please feel free to comment below or send me an email. Here's to overcoming your inner resistance.